Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be having a look at how we can start assembling a landing gear assembly. And our first sub-assembly for focusing on is going to be sub-assembly 2. So this is our linear actuator, so we're going to see how we can assemble this and make it so that it's a mechanism. So let's head on over to Creo and start our assembly. Before we head on into Creo, let's have a look at the engineering drawing for our sub-assembly. Okay, so the parts for this file you'll be able to download from the VLE, so the virtual learning environment. And yeah, so the idea here is that we've got a linear actuator and it's allowed to extend 8.1 millimeters. Okay, so this moves in and out by 8.1 millimeters. Okay, so let's make sure you've got the part files downloaded and saved into your part file folder, and let's get started. So let's load up Creo. Okay, set our working directory. And start anew. Okay, this time we're dealing with geometry that already exists, so we're going to be using the assembly. Let's give it a good name. So I'm going to suggest sub underscore ASM underscore 2. Remember, you can't have spaces in your names, otherwise they won't be picked up. And then untick the default template. Click OK. And then we're going to go down and find millimeters, design, abs. Okay, so user interface a little bit different here. You've got the assemble commands at the top, so we're going to be bringing in our components, and we're going to be trying to activate a mechanism in this part. So we're going to click on assemble, find our part files, so I've got them downloaded in here. So for this one, you can actually change the view here to thumbnails and you should be able to see them. So I need my first part, which is the cylinder. Okay, so it's ENGD008. I'm going to click open, and the first part, really, I just need to make sure that I constrain all the degrees of freedom. And to do that, I'm just going to click default. I'm going to align both of the coordinate systems of the component and the assembly. Okay, and you can see that's nice and golden. It's fully constrained. All right. So we've got the first part in. See it in the model tree here. Now we need to add our second component. So we're going to click assemble, and it's ENGD009. So this is the rod section of the actuator. I'm going to click open. So if I want to activate the mechanism, what I need to do is change the connection type at the top here. So for this, we're going to use a slider mechanism, right? And with a slider, what you'll find is that it asks for certain pieces of information so that it can construct the mechanism. And the first thing that it wants to do is an axis of alignment. So we need to tell it two axes that are aligned together. So if I zoom in a bit here, you can see I've got an axis here. I'm going to click that. And then I'm going to click on this axis in the middle here. And you can see that it's made those coincident. So it's lined them up together. We need to tell it about the rotation. So, you know, there needs to, as it's only linear, so it's only allowed movement in 1 degree of freedom. So it's just going to be moving in this direction here. We need to stop it from rotating this way. Okay. So to do that, we can just click on some planes that will give us a nice, reference face. So if we say that this plane and this plane are coincident to each other, that will stop that rotation. And now you can see the only movement that we're allowing is here. So it's along the axis. Now we've got constraint. We're only allowed to let this move by 8.5 millimeters. So this is where we can go on the translation axis here, and we can start setting up that distance. So we need to set a reference, a 0 reference face. So we're going to first select component 0 reference. So we're going to click on this back face here, and then the assembly 0 reference. So I'm going to move it and try and get the back face of this cylinder. Okay. And you can see at the moment the distance between those two parts is 34.68 millimeters. You can change that value now, so I can position it. So as you move this, you see that you get a different value. But in here, you can change that to 0. So if it's 0, it's fully in. Okay, so we've got that set as 0. So what's the minimum limit? So the minimum limit is going to be 0. Maximum limit is going to be 8.5. Okay, and then we can click OK. And what we should find is that this component now, when we drag it, so I click on the component, drag, it only moves out 8.5 millimeters. Okay, so it's very straightforward to set this one up, okay, and get it assembled. Click close. We just need to save that now, so make sure you click save. You don't need to do anything else, you just click OK. Okay, it says the model is not regenerated. If you get that sign, just come to the top, click regenerate, then you can press save again, and then it will save your assembly file. Remember, top tips, make sure that you've got your part files and your assembly files all in the same folder. It will stop you having any issues when you come to open them up later on. Okay, that's it for this video. Good luck.